Good morning, everybody. It's Ace of Trades here again for Monday, March 30th. The Bible says in the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, God, who at sundry times and in divers manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds, who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had made himself when he by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high. That's where Jesus is right now, the right hand of God. But on the chart today, pretty simple. We've got overnight lows down here, overnight highs up here. We had this uptrend, big uptrend break. I don't know what this spike was about, up to a new high. And then we just kind of chopped around here, and it looks like we're kind of resisting, pushing down at the moment, pushing up again. So it's kind of an ugly chart to try to trade at the moment. So hopefully we get more clear structures as we hit the open. And there is a news item on here. I don't think this is such a big deal. 10:30, Powell speaks. I mean, I think it's just a warning that, sometimes he says things that can spike the market one way or the other. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to move exactly at 10:30. So I wouldn't worry so much about that one. Um, Anything else? Let's see. Well, the bars, you can tell by the point differences here on the chart on the grid lines. The bars are fairly large right now. I think the ATR is about 6. So just be mindful of that. We want to be careful of that while we're trading. That's about it. So might be some abbreviated sessions this week, some maybe longer pauses between takes in the video. Just got some things to take care of, especially if I hit a trade or something that day. I may knock off early or go step away longer than normal to go do some things. But I'll be back later when we have something else to talk about. All right, so we started heading down here off the highs and just kind of got an ugly sort of move down, get this dump sideways, dump again, little correction, dump again, little correction. So there's nothing really very clean here to try to draw a channel off of. Maybe we have sort of some like a strange wider channel that's working down. So I tried to draw several things. I drew this, and then I tried to draw something like off here, and it just every time it corrects, it just keeps going back down. It's not reversing. So maybe this whole structure here is some sort of bigger channel if you were looking on a larger time frame, and it's just difficult to see on the 2000 tick chart. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe you want to kind of consider this thing as one leg, this thing as a second leg perhaps. It's very difficult because nothing fits very well any way you draw something. So you're not getting back to the highs or the low, not fitting well off either side. So let's see if we would come over to 4,000. Does that help at all? Not really. It still looks pretty ugly on the higher time frame here. So that's not really much help. But the fact that it continues to just drop down. Oh, come on. I'll have to refresh my chart. The fact that it just continues to drop down may be an indication that if you got a nice 2 legs back to this EMA, that it keeps pushing it down, that you could take something there. But yeah, nothing really very clean right now. Okay, so it looks right now like this whole thing was behaving like a downtrend all by itself, and then you get 1 leg up, 2 legs up. The trouble with these is like what I talk about, the price action is so big on this structure, it's difficult to tell where the end of the correction is going to be. Now you get a measured leg up here, 1 leg, 2 legs, but it could have also been like right here, because all that you need is for a price to push up and make a new high, really. But Um, but the structure's so big, and you get all this um, kind of these candles that are pushing back and forth with all these wicks. It's hard to tell where it's going to actually end. I mean, here you get, if you're looking at this, in real time and watching this, you could see how this could be the end of the move, and then it could push down. Now you bounce off the EMA, you make another high. That one fails, and then you get this. So if that failed, why am I going to short right here? Same thing could happen. You could get a tick and a failure. Um, it's just difficult to tell when you're not getting very clean legs, and especially when the price action is bigger, and you're basically seeing bigger structures playing out. It's hard to tell where the corrections on those structures are starting to end, I guess I should say. So it looks like, maybe price is trying to push down here. Maybe you'll get an entire second leg down, and that could come in any form. It could be very difficult to trade, just like this was. You could get something like this, which gets you close to the low, but it's just very difficult. It's hard to tell um, where these larger structures are ending and what's a good swing to try to take, um, for your entry. So hopefully something cleaner and smaller shows up for us that we can enter on.
Okay, everybody. Quite a bit of time's passed since I was on here last. Like I said, I'm gonna be on here more intermittently. Um, so we were in this chop, I think, earlier on. I really don't see anything I like in here, and then you got this move up, and this is too thin, in my opinion, and you already have potentially one leg up, two legs up, so not even quite sure. You're able to rely on this as a trend. Then you get this move up even further. That one right there would be very aggressive. Again, like here, you have this new high, but that doesn't trigger, and it would have trapped you. So if you're going to take a swing on something, you want to wait. It would be like on one of these hammer bars that you get right at the end of a move after something's broken and made a new high. But like I said, most of the time I will wait on a lower high, which you don't get here with lots of room to the EMA. And then you get this odd two legs down, another one leg, two legs into here. We bounce again off the EMA. You get two more. Times up very difficult to determine direction for any period of time here. So you get this down. Um, this looks okay here. This is one of those trades where um, you make let's do this for now. You make a new low off the first leg, and then you get this second leg back into the EMA. Um, Again, a little bit more aggressive because that leg is bigger than this one. This has already made a new low, so you may picture this as, okay, maybe this is just one leg and I might get a second leg. Again, aggressive. You probably won't see me take that very often. And then you get another two legs, but again, this is broken, made a new low. So that bar is pretty ugly, lots of stem on it, not much room to even this swing. Does work. So that's about it. I mean, you're just been kind of going sideways here once you got this flush down. You might be able to look at this area. Um, in here as a level of support. So just very odd price movements today. I mean, I guess from a big picture standpoint, you're really not going anywhere. It's hard to determine where price wants to go. There's not really any clear highs or any clear lows for a range, and you're not trending. So that would have been probably the only thing. And then if you would have got a lower high, that's aggressive there. And like I've talked about that earlier. So yeah, not a whole lot going on today, and I'll be back again later. All right, so we have um, talked about that one. This you already have two legs down, and then just kind of go sideways. You don't really ever get any good structures to trade here that are very clear. I can't even draw any larger ones that make sense, a whole lot of sense, because nothing ever comes back to the other side of one side or the other of the channel. Um, ended up drawing this. This looks like about the best thing we were getting when we started to get this channel, and then we just went sideways here and punched down through. I wouldn't even worry about this as an overshoot because um, this is a channel that's going on after all this downward movement. So you've been just going down all the way, since up here. You're pretty much at a giant range day, which you don't know at the moment. When you start, you get this like double bottom, push up, um, push down, push up, and then but once we come through here again, and then just don't come back up to it and keep going, um, it pretty much looks like prices are trying to get to the overnight low, which they are right now. So, in this case of a trend overshoot, I'm not so concerned about it because it's not like it's the main trend that you're trading. This is just something I happened to find and was hoping it was going to be something we could use. But overall, prices are just continually going down here. So I wasn't like you get this overshoot by a few points that you're looking for like prices to just start reversing. So that's what I mean when I say about context matters a lot with overshoots. This one here, it's not such a big deal because um, you've been going down the whole day, and there's not some main trend that you're following that is now overshot. Um, so we do have to be careful now here though because we are back to these lows of the day. If we got two very clean legs back up here, um, I would be okay with taking a trade off of that with looking at this as the downtrend that we're working on. Um, but it hasn't been doing a whole lot of that for us today. So now that you're at the overnight low, the only thing I'd be looking for is a couple clean legs back up here. And if we, push around here and, just kind of mess around and make a new low or whatever, then I'd be looking for prices to maybe try to push back up now that we're down here. This is going to get small, but just so you have the context, we went up here and now we're all the way back down here at these lows for the day from overnight. So, um, yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. Of course, this looks like you're just getting a couple stacked bars, and now maybe you'll push up here, but um, that's what we're watching right now. There's about 45 minutes left to go in the day, so unless I get a trade, I'll probably just be back for the post market. Okay, everybody, I'm just going to call it here for the day. So when we last left off, I was talking about looking for a short for this to get a new low. And all you really get is you get some of this chop here, tiny little entries, and it's just choppy, choppy, choppy. It does make a new low, pushes out of the overnight low, and pushes down one more time, and then starts reversing off the overnight low. You get this push up. It's probably about the strongest push you've had to the bullish side since right here. And then you get a break, and then this pushes up. Little chop pushes up again. At that point, you've got a measured move. But remember, we're coming off the overnight low now. So the context, even though you've been down all day long, you've come back down to where the overnight support is. So the context could be flipping against you now. So you don't want to just short that right there. Probably wins for something. But you can see it bounces. Prices are holding the EMA now. So there's probably some sort of structure here. You may not be able to see it because again, you're within this. This is what makes days like this difficult. When you're within, what is this, 63, you're in inside a 100-point framework that's just chopping around basically to your naked eye. It's very difficult to find. You need super clean structures. Um,
that you're confident are going to retest, or you need clean ranges. This is not, you could probably put some kind of box on here, but there's nothing in here that would make me think I'm at the highs of some range that I can try to short or long or whatever. But I drew this wider thing because it kind of fit here, touch there. But overall, again, you can see how it doesn't fit very well here, here, all the way down here. It's probably not a real thing. It's more for, maybe something like this. You just want to be careful you're not taking a trade right into that. But if you would have got two legs here off this EMA, you probably have room there to take something if it sets up for you. But now, and this is how people they'll get trapped going short because it's been, to their understanding and their observation, you've just been down all day, but you're not really down all day. You're inside. Overnight, you were up from here to here. And now prices, when you get a established range, they will normally try to get to the other side of the range. Now, often it's not 100-point range that you're trying to get to, and you know, the way that prices get back down to take all day to get back down to the other side of the range. Sometimes it's a little bit more quicker and cleaner than this, and so you're able to identify those structures. But this was just very, I mean, you can see things, but these are so big that it's too big for you to think that something is on the small picture trades that you're taking. Um, like maybe this is one, but this is chopping, chopping, chopping. You do hit a measured move. So if you were going to take a shot at something, it'd be like something like that when you get a hammer bar back. But this is just too spread out for me and too choppy for me to try to take something like that. So, um, it's about 4 minutes till now. I'm just going to probably end the video here. If I can find some structure, get something quick back that's clean, maybe you take that. But you can just see how um, the overnight, the range actually takes precedent then. So all this downward pressure that you've been feeling in the intraday, you're just inside this range. And that's why I mark the overnight highs and overnight lows to um, keep me in line with where the support and resistance are. Because when you get in a big day like this and prices are very spread out, sometimes you can lose sight. If you don't do that, sometimes you can lose sight of where the support is, because it just took all day. And I have a pretty large screen that I'm trading on here, but this can just lull you to sleep with all this downward pressure, and you just think, oh, price they just keep going down, 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 down. And here you had no idea that you just ran into the overnight low, and now prices are bouncing here, and you're scratching your head, why is that happening? It's just been going down all of a sudden, and sometimes it's like seems out of nowhere. But if you have your levels marked out, then it makes sense. Anyway, I went on for quite a bit here, and so that's it for the day. I will catch up with you again for the last trading day of the month tomorrow.